Really happy that we are joined by Meara O'Reilly. Great to see you.
Welcome, Meara.
And I have to say, in real fangirl, I'm a big fan of yours, and I've never met you before. So it's really fantastic that we had this gigantic festival so that we could meet you, which is really great. Also, one thing which is interesting about your music, which I really love, is that it's very, there's something that's very simple and beautiful and elegant and attractive, and it's really great. But everything is a kind of process, and everything is a kind of mathematical game, or a kind of, there's like a formula behind everything. So how did you get into that?
Mm-hmm. So this piece is off of a record that came out on Cantaloupe last fall. And everything on the record was sort of based on principles of perception. So I'd been studying for a long time the ways that our brains work to group melodies together, and the different conditions under which we can actually break that apart, and that using different musical devices, and that sort of practice has been around for hundreds of years, actually, outside of science. And the form of Hocketing is actually, from the 13th century or something. But so I was interested in sort of revisiting a very old form through the format of knowing what we also know specifically about why Hockets work and what makes them feel so confusing in a delightful way. So I just sort of wanted to, revisit that in a systematic way. And so each Hocket, each movement in the piece sort of explores different parameters and different ways. It has like a different roadmap for each piece, basically.
Do you want to say a little bit about what a Hocket actually is for the people in the audience who did not go to music school?
Well, I didn't go to music school either, but
no, but I did, so I know what you're talking about.
So a Hocket is a sort of medieval form that characterized mostly by taking a melody and splitting it across multiple voices, often in very kind of surprising ways. And it sort of is a game, and actually at the time, like, it was outlawed at one point because it was so disruptive and so devilish, apparently. But it's actually been in music all over the world since then. Like, there are folk practices in which it's just like a children's game to take a melody and split it back and forth rapidly.
You need two people.
Yeah, two
Mearas.
Yeah. It's the anti-quarantine art form, especially with the lag over Zoom. It's just never going to happen.
So we have to fess up here and let everyone know that what we're going to see is a pre-recorded performance that you made especially for this festival today.
Yes. So I recorded it live in my living room, but triggering samples of the other part myself in real time. And just because of the nature of how the parts fit together, I was a little concerned about how that would happen live over Zoom, etc. So I'm grateful that you guys allowed me to sort of make sure that I could get it all in one piece.
Also, we have you here live, so we kind of feel very grateful for that chance for people to meet you and see you in this moment, and hear about your work. And I'm just curious how this time has been for you too. Has this been a creative moment, in isolation or frustrating, or all the above?
It's been a real mix. It's been hard to come up with new things at the moment, but I'm really relishing taking the time to actually just learn new things, which is usually the first part of my creative process anyway, is sort of diving into a rabbit hole of something I'm really fascinated by. So I'm just sort of diving back into my references and interests right now, and it does feel productive in that way.
Great.